Hello, colleagues. This is Calvin's. Today, I would want us to discuss into details how we can come up with a automation system where we make Excel do some particular work for us, especially in our schools. There's some work that really are tedious and take consume a lot of time. So we would want to say that Excel is a powerful tool which can be used when automated to perform such particular tasks. So today, let me take you through a tutorial where I want to tell you how you can automate Excel to make some particular very important documents that can be generated when we automate Excel. So this is a mark sheet. You remember we talked about how to prepare mark sheet where the marks just reflect automatically. For example, when you put a mark like this, you can see the marks just come automatically. So that one we did the other time. So we are not going to repeat that one. You should be able to go back to my videos and watch the part one of this series. So this is the mark sheet. This is the mark sheet. We want to I want to use this particular mark sheet for purposes of demonstration. So I wanted to show you how we can generate a report card or report cards for this particular students in our mark sheet. So here is a report card that I've already developed, designed. For that matter, this is a report card I've just designed it in this sheet. So we want to have it as our template where all the students' marks, position, and so on, grades, and so on will be reflected. So it's going to act as our template. So first of all, we need to have a drop-down list here where we'll have the names of the students in our mark sheet. Remember that now I've put in only the 4 students. So we want to have those 4 students in the drop-down list on the report card sheet here. So now we will have a drop-down list here. So how do we create that drop-down list? So you go to data, you select the sheet, the cell C3 here. You can put it anywhere where you think it's nice for you. So let me put it as C3. So you go to data, selecting that cell, go to data validation. Then you will click on data validation. Then here you will select list. You select lists. Then after selecting list, you will put in the source. The source. So I will have it. First of all, you put equal sign. Then after putting equal sign, I will have the source because mark sheet 1. Mark sheet as mark sheet. Then I can let us just select these ones. So it's already selected. Then we say OK. So when we come here, you will find that the list of those admission numbers are already there. So you can put in whichever column in this particular area. So I wanted to put in the names. You can put in the names and put in the admission numbers, whichever you want. So okay, let us have the admission numbers. So that we will use the admission numbers instead of the names. So that is now the drop-down list. You can have it colored maybe light green or something just to differentiate it from the okay, that one. You can even have borders. Okay, that's okay. So now this is the drop-down list with the list of admission numbers in our mark sheet. So now after that, remember however large the number of the students will be, all of them will be here. So now we need to come and populate our report card with those data for each of these particular students. We will take their data and populate them on the template here. So first of all, we will start with the names. So how are we going to populate the names on the report card template? So you will have, for example, we can, if you select that one, 1090, then you will come here and use the formula. We can use index match formula to extract the name of this particular student from the mark sheet onto the report card here. So you will simply say equal index now, then report that is bracket there, then the array, the table where you want to return the name from. So that is the array. So we want to return the name from this particular. We can look at it here. So you come here and it's on the mark sheet. You come here and say we are returning from this particular uh, array. So it can be from E2 to E5, for example. Let's just have it E5. Uh, we can even have it like that. Then this one can be, we can have E2 to E5. Let me just put it E2 to E5, for example, E2 to E5. But it can be as large as possible. You can even put it to 100 or whichever. But let us have E5 names to the mark list. So now we are going to check on the template. Come back to our template. You see that we have this one here. So we'll have a comma there. So mark sheet E2 to E5, then a comma. Then we will do the match. So we'll say match. You will say match. Then after that you have the bracket there. So the value that we want to return the name for, that is the admission number whose name is to be returned. So now you will click on this one here. After clicking on that one, so that will be the value. The value is 1090. Then we want to put the lookup array where that value will be found. So that value will be found in which column? The column here we can have D mark sheet D. We can have D2. So you can have D2 to D5 once again. D2 to D5. D2 to D5. That is the array. Then we want the exact match. Then we close that one. So this bracket we are supposed to have inserted there. So that will be the name of the student whose admission number is reflected here. So when you change this admission number, for example, to 1093, you can see this one also changes. You're able to see when you change this one to 1095, the name of the student also will change appropriately. So when we do that, we've already imported the name of the student onto our report card template. So we go to, we can go to class. Class will be inserted manually. So if it is from 1, you just write on the template as from 1. It will not change. That one is not supposed to change because this one is a report card for a particular class. So just write the from 1 there. This from 2, just write from 2. So then KCP, we will need to import that data because it's a variable. It will keep on changing depending on the student. So it's a variable. So we do the same thing we did with the name. So you come here. First of all, you select the cell, this cell here. Select the cell. Then come up here. Then put equal sign. Then we use index match once again. So you say index, then bracket, then the array where the KCP marks are found. That is the array, so that the column where those marks are found. Then you come here and then you say the KCP marks are in this column here. So this is so long. Let me put it just F2, from F2 to F5. F5. So that is where we are finding the KCP marks. Then you will now use match. So match, we are matching it with the we want to match. Let me go back here. So we are matching that one with which value? We are matching this value here. This is the value. That is the value. So that is the value. We can, let me write it like this. So match with that value. So this value here, you realize it is C3 on the report card sheet. So where do we find the admission numbers column? Admission numbers column, we'll find it here. So we can say from D2 to D5, then comma, then we want exact match, which is 0 there. Then you close bracket, then you that there's a bracket again. I forgot to put the bracket. There should be 2 brackets and then here. So okay, yes, that is now well done. So you can see this is the KCP marks for this girl with this admission number. Again, when we change that one, it will also change appropriately, and it is fetching that accurately from the mark sheet. You're able to see that one. So that is the idea. That's the idea. When they change like that, even during printing, they will print, the report card will print automatically one by one. So selecting one after the other. So that is KCP. Then the term you're supposed to enter the term and even the exam name. But let me clear with the student data, because this was a general. So the year is also general. The admission number is specific to that particular student. So the admission number, again, you can use VLOOKUP. So you can VLOOKUP, you can use index match, sorry. You can even use this to look for the admission number. Or you can use the name to look for the admission number. Or you can still have the admission number, which is here. You can actually put it here. So there are very many ways of importing that data. You can import it from the mark sheet using VLOOKUP, or you can use index match, or you can bring it here from the same sheet. So this one, remember, this one is cell C3. So you can even put here is equal to C3. It's equal to C3. Then you put that. You can see the admission numbers already reflected. So even if this one changes to something else, like that, it will also change. So that is one of the ways you can put in the admission number on this template. Or you can use index match to import it from the mark sheet. Or you can use VLOOKUP, whichever is simple, but you're able to see that is the simplest. So we can go for the simplest one. So that is the admission number. So the term, exam, and year. Now there's what we call settings. You will decide, like this one is just design this sheet here, where you put some general settings. For example, you can see the school information settings, like the school name, you put it here. The school code, you put that one there. The postal address, we have put it there. The email address, we put it there. Then the school motto, also you put it there. So all this one will be fetched by the system, and they will be used on the report card. So all that is falling under general setting, and you are supposed to make this sheet where we have those particular data which will be fetched by the reporter. Then we have exam settings. So here, let me take you through this exam setting. Now we have exam, the term, and the year. So now we need a drop-down list here, and another drop-down list here, and another drop-down list here, just to be able to select that particular data which is appropriate. So now, like now we have exam. So exam can be exam 1, exam 2, exam 3. You can have cat 1, cat 2, cat 3. You can have pre-mock 1, pre-mock 2, and so on. So you will have to have drop-down list. So now we need to create a drop-down list here. We go to data validation. Under that one, you'll have lists. Then we have exam 1, we have exam 2, we have exam 3, we have, you can even put cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, and so on and so forth. Then you put that. So already we have now the list here. Then again, term, we have term 1, term 2, 3. Then you now have to create a list, drop-down list. So you come to list, then you simply have term 1, term 2, and then term 3. So then you put OK. Then also we need year here. Here we can have from 2020 or from the current year up to whichever year we would want to put. So we can say 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, and so on and so forth. So that's how you will create drop-down list for the year. Then you put it there. So now we have the 3 drop-down lists for exam type, for the term, and then for the year. So they will be very, very important when it comes to populating the report card with this exam setting. So you can say exam 1, you can select term 2, then you can say the year to be 2020, 2021, for example. So when you select them like that, they're the ones which will be reflected. So we select them according to, we do it appropriately. So when you come back to report card here, our template here. So now when we want to reflect the term, now we will simply import it. The term, we are going to import the term, so equal to, so we come to the settings, so it is on the settings. So then here, then we put OK. So you can see the exam, the term has been, no, this one should be term. So we say the term should be, let me do this formula. So the term we are going to have equal sign, then on the setting, then we see the term is here, term 2, that is right, then we put OK. So term 2, then exam also we do the same, we say equal, and then we come here to settings, and that is exam, so we select exam 1 like that. Then we go to year, the same here also we do equal sign, then we come to the setting, then we come to the year cell with the year 2021, then we put OK. So we have already imported all the necessary information about the student and those other information. So what is now remaining is just to populate the report card with the scores of the students, the grades, and then the subject feature, and the position, the rank, and so on. And then the graphical representation for those particular scores. So now let us start by importing the marks for English. So these are the subjects. These are the subjects. So it will depend on your school. These are the subjects we are taking. So just list those during the signing of the report card. Just list those subjects under the subjects. So now the score. The score. We want the score for English. We want the score for English for these students. We want the score for English for that student. So now we will be forced to do index match once again. We will be forced to do index match so that we are able to fetch the uh, marks for that particular student. So now let us do index match. So we are going to have equal sign, then you say index, then where are we going to get the English scores? Which column do we have English scores? So that when you come to mark sheet, then you check which column is containing English scores, and it's column G. So you will select that data. For general purposes, you can even put the whole column from G2 to even G1000. So, but for this purpose for demonstration, let's have G2 up to G5. Then that is where we'll be finding the marks. Then we want to return these marks for, we are returning that marks for, sorry, so, okay, we have that. So we want to return for this guy. So we will match. So match, we have match there. So match, we are matching it with this one here. We are matching it with this admission number here. Okay, we want to match it with that admission number. So you put the admission number there. Then we need an exact match. So that will be 0. Okay, so before that, before we proceed to match type, we must have the array, the lookup array, the table where we'll be finding the admission numbers. So the admission numbers will be found right here. The admission number will be found here. So this is where we have the admission numbers. Then now you can now put the match type. So we want the exact type. Match type. To put the two brackets. So let us see. So you can see we have already returned the marks for Sharon Awino. So when you check here, you find that Sharon Awino has got what in English? Sharon Awino is having 85. It's having 85. That is what they are having. So when you change this one like this, everything will change. Serafin Arwa is having 85. When you come to Serafin Arwa, it's having 85 in English. So that is how they will change. So now we've imported that. Now you proceed to Kiswahili. Now we will just have to copy this one, and then the column for Kiswahili is what will change appropriately. So you can always copy that one. So, but because I want us to learn something, let us just have it written here. So index, match. So where do we want to return the marks? We want to return the marks for Kiswahili. So where do we find the marks for Kiswahili? The marks for Kiswahili will be found here. Let me move this one. The marks for Kiswahili will be found here. This is where we're finding marks for Kiswahili. So now that's where we find the marks for Kiswahili. Then we are going to match. We are going to match that one. Match. So when you match that one, we want to match it with. Okay, we're matching with this one here. the value, we match it with that one. So that is admission number. And admission number, the match, the column where we find the admission numbers is still the same, that one. Then column, comma, then you put 0, 0 for that matter. Then you close the bracket. So this one is the sheet where we find the marks for Kiswahili. Then match value is at C3 on that sheet of report card sheet at C3. Then we are finding that the match value can be found. It can be found in the D column, which is containing admission numbers of the mark sheet. Then you put this other bracket, which is the second one here. So now that is the mark. That's the marks for that girl. So now if you change, when you change this one, all those will change appropriately. So you can see. So you continue with that until you reach down here. So let us just proceed to let's look at the mark sheet. Kiswahili is found I, Math K, Biology M, so like that. So we are going to J, where we find Maths. So Maths is K, found in column K. So Maths found in column K. So you come and then, so you can just copy this one here. You can simply copy that one, then paste it here. Just paste it there. Then so we paste it in here. But now column is K. We change this one to K. This one here is K. So that now change to K. Okay. Then it will give us that mark. So only that we need to change. Then now that formula. So column BG, column BG, column BG. So you can see that we have populated all the marks. So whenever you change this one, whenever we change this one here to any admission number, you can see everything changes. You change this to this, everything changes. So the data for that admission number will be reflected appropriately on the template. So those are scores. So grades, you can as well import the grades, or you can create a VLOOKUP table here so that the grades are reflected here. So those are two ways. You can have the VLOOKUP table here, or the grades, you can import them from the mark sheet, these grades here, using the same method. So only that now the grades column will change. So like for example, the grade for English in column H. So you just come here and then still it's the same formula. We are using the same formula, so we paste, but now this one becomes H, H, and then this one also H, then you paste. So you can see A grade. Then now Kiswahili is in column. Kiswahili is found in column J for grades. You come here and say formula pasted there, but now you put column. So you will say it's found in column J. So you put J here, J, you put J there, J, like that. Then math is found in column. Math is found in column L for the grade. Math found in column L. So in the formula, we will change this one to L. This one becomes L. This one also becomes L. Very good. Then biology is found in column N. Biology is found in column N. So in the reporter template, we will come here and say that one. Then biology, we have said is column N. Column N. Column N. Column N for biology. AH. Change that one to AH. Very good. Then business studies. The last one is found in BH. Come to report card in your index match formula. Now we replace that one with BH. So BH, then here also BH. Very good. So we have imported all grades. Whenever you change the admission number in the drop-down list, everything will change. You can see how this one is interesting. So we are automating Excel. So each student is having the report card uh, uh, generated in that particular manner. So uh, even the class teachers, you can subject teachers, you can always have them. But I will tell you how subject teachers can be imported to this in a different way. But at this particular level, let me have this method used. You can use this method, very simple one. You just at the side of the template here, just have the subject teachers for these subjects. So if you have these subjects, just you can just copy, then paste them here, then paste them there. Then you can have the names of the names of the teachers for those subjects for that particular class for that particular class. So you will have, for example, English, you can have the name of the teacher. So you can have then Rinda Michael, Rinda M. Then person teaching Kiswahili, Karasi, C. At the side of your report card template. So it's just a normal table with that class with the class teachers. So you can have it uh, there, so that for the sake of uh, subject teachers in your report card. So when you have it like that, it will be very nice. So you can simply extract. So they will be changing. If a class teacher or subject teacher changes in that particular class, just come here and change for that particular subject. Then it will be reflected according to that change you've made in this particular table. This table can be anywhere for this demonstration. For the simplicity of it, let me just have it close here. But you can hide it somewhere, maybe in another sheet or something. So the subject teacher because we have English, so we need the subject teacher Karasi. We need Karasi, not Karasi, but Rinda to reflect here. So how are we going to reflect that one? How are we going to reflect that one? We are going to reflect that one by index matching, or we can still use the simplest formula. So we can say, because this one is in column D15, we can still have D15 to reflect here. So equal D15. So later on, I'll use the more complicated one, but let us use the simplest one. So Kiswahili is D15. This one is D. We're using reader here is D14. So this one is D15. So now you can just copy, you can just do this and all of them reflect like that. You can see uh, they're reflected, but now you need to change a few things. Just need to change a few things like Kiswahili. Kiswahili is D15. So D15, this is D15. This one should start doing D14. D14, so here D14 not 15. D14, like that. D14. And look at this when you reflect down. Look at this. When you reflect down, you can see everything. Everything is in order. So whenever you change, for example, you are changing the subject teacher, like now agriculture, you say still that is rose, or you will see the other one also changes appropriately. So on the template, it has already changed to rose. So any change you're making here will reflect here automatically. So those are the subject teachers. So now, what is now remaining? What is now remaining here is basically we can reflect the total marks. The total marks for this girl, and then the position is how taking can also be reflected. can also be reflected. So let me show you how that one can be done. Let me show you how that one can be done. Let me do like this. Okay, that's now nice. So again, we can have this one like this, so that we have okay, no, no, okay, like okay, no, okay, everything is okay. So now we can also let me also squeeze this. Squeeze that a little bit. Let me also squeeze this a little bit. You can still squeeze like this. Designing it further. So okay, right. So now what we can now do, we can reflect the total marks for that there. So again, we look at we look at that index match will be okay to use. So index match will be appropriate. So we have our formula. We can copy of this. Just copy of this. You can copy this. But now, okay, instead of copying, let me just demonstrate so that we get used to it. So total marks, we will use our index match. So index. What do we want here? We want in that cell we want total marks. So we look for the column for total marks, the array. So it is there on mark sheet. Total marks. Where do we find it? Marks we find here. This is where we find the total marks. Okay, that is done. Then uh, then we'll have okay we'll have match. We have a match. So we want to have which value to be matched across the marks. We want this one to be matched across the marks. This admission number here. And where do we find the admission numbers? We find it in mark sheet here, but the column is D. This column here. That's where we find the admission number. Then we close. But before we close, sorry, we need to have index the match type. So exact type there. Then we close. That is okay. So when you look at this, it has already reflected or reported the marks for this student whose name is reflected here. But when you change the name of the student by putting another admission number, it will reflect appropriately. So you can see it's now reflect another mark. So it will reflect that one. So out of 1100, because these are 11 subjects, then the position, we can have the position. If our mark sheet has positions or ranking, then we should be able to reflect this one on the report card. So when you go to report card, let us check. Let us have that cell where our position is going to be reflected. So let us paste the formula here. But I say they don't want the idea of pasting. Let us just write it down. When we repeat and repeat and repeat, we get used to it and we master. So index, we want the position. So position is found in which column? Position is found in this column, and it's is the array. Then we want to match. We want to match it. We want to match it uh, using our C3 up there, C3. So now, then the admission numbers, because C3 is an admission number, and those admission numbers are found here. They are found here. So now, then after that, put comma, then you put the exact match type, then put that. But now, two brackets need to put there. I've been forgetting. So you put equal sign. Then that girl is position 3. Position 3. That is good. That is good. So it will change when we change the drop down value here to that, then another position will be reflected depending on the student. So now you can see we have position 4. Then now, out of this one will now be the count, the total number of students in that class. So this one can always be, you can do it, you can even count it from the sheet. Just count these uh, names. You can use counter or count. So for this integers, you can use count. Here we can use counter. Counter will always count both numbers and even uh, non, non, integer values. So let us use this one. So we want to count how many admission numbers we have in this column D, so that it will give us out the number of students in that class who have started the examination. So now you use that particular trick. So you just say equal, then count. You use count, that one here. So we are counting this one here. You can even count that one, but you can put the whole column. There's no problem. Then you put that. So there are 4 students. So out of 4 students, so this one will change according to the number of students we'll be having here. So it will change appropriately. Okay, that one. Then you put equal sign. So sorry. So I didn't have there's something I didn't do. Equal to average bracket. Then now we are averaging these values. Like that, then you put bracket, then that. So that is okay, that's almost the same as what we did first time. So that will be the average. But let us put it as a whole number. Let us round it off. So we go to home tab, then we select this, then numbers. Then you come down here. You come down here to number. Then use 0 decimal place like that. Then put OK. So every time it will round it up like that. So 57. So let's change these points to grade. We can change these points now to grade so that it is what we use as the grade here, pointing that cell. So this one is not report card. So here will be mark sheet. I've seen the problem. So mark sheet. That one should be mark sheet. I think now it's okay. Then we say that. So that's now right. So grade is C plus. So that's the average. From the average of all these marks, then we get the grade. So grade is C plus from that particular perspective. So we have almost designed the report card. So it's a template that when you design like that, it will be work done at once. You've done everything. You will never do anything again apart from just coming and generating the report cards. Look at this. We're just doing like that and things are changing. So only a few areas are remaining. So I will tackle the few areas remaining in part 3 of this tutorial. Otherwise, I want to thank you big for being patient and trying to understand what we are trying to say. Thank you and God bless you. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe so that whenever I post such videos, you'll be able to be notified by YouTube and proceed to them. Thank you and God bless you.